Hello folks, and welcome to my review of the all-new Honda CRV. This is the plug-in hybrid variant of the car in the top level trim. However, you can also get a more traditional hybrid system without the need for wires. This plug-in variant gives you about 50 miles of all-electric range, and obviously it can be used seamlessly in conjunction with the petrol engine to return rather nice MPG figures. So as well as all the electrical gubbins, we've also got a 2-litre 4-cylinder engine underneath here. That's mated to an eCVT setup, and it's actually in 2 stages, so you do feel a real gear change, and the drive benefits from that. The plug-in hybrid version can tow 1,500 kilos, while the standard hybrid can only tow 750 kilos, so worth bearing in mind for you caravanners. Now, as popular as the outgoing CRV was, it was kind of starting to need a bit of an upgrade in terms of the way it looks. And I think they've done a really great job of this. It does feel like an evolution of the CRV design, so it's not completely new and kind of throws everything from the past out the window, but it certainly feels a lot more modern, and certainly keeps up to the pace with some of its major rivals. 18-inch wheels are all that's on offer across the range. I love these wheels actually, because look at this. You've got plenty of rubber, and that makes for a very comfortable ride. I think they still fill up the arches nicely, so they're not sort of a complete faux pas in terms of the styling, but the ride really does benefit from having that extra bit of tyre wall to play with. One of the most interesting parts of the design, I think, is this rear quarter, because not only have we got these nice creases now in play, but this part here looks very Volvo to me. What do you think, folks? Let me know in the comments. The boot space in this plug-in hybrid version is very competitive, 617 litres, and unlike a lot of hybrid vehicles, you've still got a usable underfloor space. The chargers are in there, the tyre jollop, all the rest of it, and there's still plenty of room to spare. Unfortunately, you can't put the back seats down from the back, so you have to go in and put each one down manually. It's a bit of a faff, but when you do get it down, there's a van-like amount of space in there, and really it's about as nice and easy a boot as there could be. If you've got big buggies, if you've got wheelchairs, anything like that are going to be a cinch to get out of here. It is completely flat, and it is quite a low boot floor, so again, very easy to get those large heavy items in and out. Your rear seat passengers are going to love travelling in this CRV because it's just so spacious. I mean, look at that leg room. It's epic. There's also an okay amount of headroom. I'm only 5'9", but you'd certainly be all right in here at 6 foot. That is eaten into a bit because we've got a large panoramic sunroof here. The middle seat is completely usable for an adult. You also have a double cup holder in here, 2 USB-Cs down there, and a more or less completely flat floor. There's only just a suggestion of a bump in the middle, and even better still, you can do a lot of adjustment with these back seats and really find the perfect position to have a little doze. This is a really nice place to sit. I think the only negative in here is that the middle seat belt is one of these like pull from the roof type affairs that you have to secure in 2 places. I'm just never a fan of those. I don't think they're that comfortable, and I always think there could be a better solution. This is a really nice place to sit. Onto the cabin, and all around, I'd say this is a real hit. They've hit the spot for me, Honda, with this one, with one exception, and that's this gear selector thing. I just don't like these buttons. I'd much rather have a dial or just a traditional lever. The reverse thing's a weird sort of down-facing button, and the others are more traditional physical buttons at least, but buttons nonetheless. And to me, it's just a tiny bit odd. The steering wheel's lovely. You've got really nice physical thumb controls. It feels nice under the hand. It's quite thin, but it still feels good. The infotainment system, the standard Honda system, is okay, and it's a massive upgrade versus the old CRV, trust me, because that felt like something from the late 90s, in fairness. We've got wireless Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto. That connects very easily. The screen's nice and bright, no issues with that whatsoever. And look at this. We've got physical dials for the aircon. We've got a button for the heated steering wheel. We've got a button for the heated seats. all the things that you just need to get hold of and press, and you don't particularly need to take your hands off the road for, are here. Like, please, other manufacturers, look at this interior and take inspiration from it. VW, look. Moving further down, we've got a 12-volt charging socket, we've got a USB-A and a USB-C, a wireless charging pad, and a place for an old man to put his reading glasses. Once again, physical switch for your drive mode and for the different sort of EV type operations. This one's also got hill descent assist. And then a couple of cup holders and a reasonable size cubby. Very nice. Like, very nice. Along the dash here, we've got this nice sort of honeycomb trim that we first saw, I think, in the new Civic. It all has a nice feel. The materials are not particularly extravagant, but neither do they feel cheap. It feels robust. It feels built to last. But most importantly, it feels like the person designing this has thought about its user. I also have to tell you that the driver's seat in this is one of the most comfortable seats I've had in a car this year. It's got more grip in the side bolsters than the outgoing model from memory. It's got an amazing electric lumbar support, which is fantastic. And you can just adjust everything so much that you're always going to find the perfect driving position for you. It's a win. Honestly, for me, as much as I like a stylish looking interior, it has to be functional before anything else. And this is a massive, massive tick in that functional box. And to be fair, in terms of the styling, I think it looks good. Onto the road test out in the New Forest today. The weather is glorious one minute and looks like we're going to get some sort of biblical flood the next, but on we trot. The key thing with this car, the key word I guess, is comfort. It's incredibly comfortable. The seat, as I said before, is lovely. You just cannot fail but to get comfortable in this seat. And the driving position's fantastic because of those chunky tyres and perhaps a slightly smaller wheel than you would get on some cars of its kind. You know, it is very smooth. It glides over all but sort of the biggest craters in the road with no particular problems. It's a very nice thing. It's not sporty in any way, shape or form. It does have a sport mode, but it's kind of pointless. That's not what this car's all about, let's face it. This is about loading your family into, your luggage into, your shopping, whatever else, and getting down the road comfortably without incident. And this delivers all that in spades. The steering's nice. It is a little bit boaty in the corners. Obviously we've got a bit of extra weight in this one with it being the plug-in hybrid. So it can be a tiny bit boaty in corners, but again, you're not driving this thing round the B roads like you're at Silverstone. It is what it is. It's a big SUV, and the size of the car shouldn't be underestimated. And to me, it does feel noticeably bigger and heavier than something like a Kia Sportage, for example. Now, the claimed MPG in the standard hybrid version is around 42. I'll put the figure up on the screen for you. And in this plug-in hybrid is over 300. It's really difficult to give you any kind of worthwhile MPG number in a plug-in hybrid because obviously it's going to change almost by the minute depending on the state of charge you've got in the battery. If you run this thing on petrol alone, you're probably going to get late 20s in terms of MPG, simply because you're lugging around all that extra equipment, batteries, electric motors, etc. When you're in fully charged combined mode, like I am now, I've got about half the battery and I've got a full tank of petrol. I'm supposedly getting 199.9 mpg according to the driver information display. I'm guessing that's where it tops out and it doesn't go any higher than that. But what that means in the real world, I couldn't possibly begin to tell you. In reality, if you're doing a long trip in this, you're not going to stop and charge the battery every 50 miles, are you? It's not going to happen. But if you do have access to a charger at home and you keep the battery topped up, you can certainly achieve some pretty impressive numbers with it. That does come at a price, however. The standard hybrid version of this in elegance trim starts at about 46 grand. The next step up being about 49 grand. And then when you go to this top trim, the Advanced Plus, you're looking at £54,000. Now that's the only trim level that the plug-in hybrid is available in. So if you want the plug-in hybrid and you feel like that's going to save you a lot of money, bear in mind that it's £8,000 more than the entry point on this car, and it's going to take you a long while to earn that £8,000 back. Obviously company car drivers etc. will go for this one simply because it makes good financial sense in terms of your company car tax, and in fairness you could do a reasonable commute in this every day with zero tailpipe emissions running on pure battery power alone. Now, unlike a lot of modern cars, the rear visibility in this one is great. You've got a huge rear screen and nice big chunky wing mirrors. The one downside of those mirrors being that once you get out to motorway speeds, you do get a fair amount of wind noise coming off them. Otherwise though, it has to be said, the cabin is very, very well damped, and apart from a bit of tyre noise, it's whisper quiet in here most of the time. The weather's just taken a turn for the worse, folks, so the review might get a bit noisier from here on. Let's hope not. For me, in the Honda range at the moment, there are a couple of standout cars. I've said it before and I'll say it again, the Civic, I think, is one of the best cars available on the market today. It's exceptionally good. The Honda Jazz is also a fantastic car. People sneer a bit about the Jazz at times, but as small cars go, at the moment, I think it puts together one of the most complete packages from any manufacturer. Now, this incarnation of the CRV, despite having a price point that probably puts it closer to the company of brands like Audi and BMW than it does to brands like Kia and Hyundai, is a very, very good car. It really is a nice thing. Folks, the life of a car reviewer is not an easy one at times. The weather's been killing me today. 1 minute it's blinding me with sunlight, next minute it looks like the heavens are going to open. Anyway, such is life. Back to the car. In summary, it's bloody brilliant. If you want a big family SUV that doesn't really come with compromises, you should look at the CRV. Yes, it's expensive. If you compare it to something like a Tucson or a Sportage, it looks expensive on paper, but Honda's reliability is really second to one, which is probably Toyota Lexus, but they usually vie for that top position, and it just does everything so well. It's incredibly comfortable, it's incredibly easy to live with. I personally would go for the standard hybrid version rather than the plug-in hybrid, but company car users out there I'm sure will be favoured towards that plug-in hybrid variant. But it really is just a very, very good car that's difficult to fault in any way. Go and check one out. If you want to see the latest lease prices for a Honda CRV, please click the link to Lease Loco that's pinned as the top comment and is in the video description. And it will take you directly to all the best deals on the CRV on Lease Loco at the time you click, and it helps support the channel. Maybe I will have a film crew and a script writer and a cameraman and all those nice things one day. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.